live? Will it be one that leaves you separated from God forever, or one leading to eternal joy with Him in heaven? Choose well while there's still time. Choose heaven. Choose God.
Don't you love it when you get to talk to somebody who's a glass is half full, optimistic person? That's what you find in Sabrena Smedley. She is here this morning talking about real estate, and I had just asked her before we got on camera, do you ever feel a little bit discouraged because you feel like we're still in that spot where people are having a hard time coming in locally and buying a house? And she said, well, I'm kind of an optimistic person.
I am very optimistic, and I'm very blessed. This has been a rewarding career for me. I've been selling real estate for over 22 years now, and I love it. And I think when you love what you do, you don't really think of it as a job, and you can stay optimistic. And it's very rewarding helping others, you know, try to find that perfect home, because it's usually their greatest investment.
Sure. I think something that's really important is the 22 years that you've been doing this, because most people will not buy a house frequently.
That's right.
So they rely on your guidance, and so you've seen all the trends.
I have seen. I was in the market back in 2008 and 9 when it was at its roughest, and we came out of that. So you just, I mean, you really have to learn to navigate with the market,
right,
and help people. And you know, times change. You know, a couple years ago it was very difficult for anyone trying to buy a home, especially if they were getting financing, because they couldn't compete with all the cash buyers that were out there. But that's not the case now. Our supply is up, actually. And so we're seeing too that the average days on the market is roughly now about 45 days. A couple years ago it was like 30 days because the homes were being listed, they were flying off the market, multiple offers.
Right.
We're not seeing that as much. And when people ask me, is it a good time to buy? I think it's one of the best times to buy.
So, okay, sometimes we've reached a point where we want to look at interest rates over the cost of the home or the overall payments made over the mortgage.
Right.
So you say don't be too concerned about interest rates going up.
That's right. So right now, first of all, you need to get with an experienced realtor, someone who has those contacts. I was able just this past weekend to get 2 buyers an interest rate below 6%. So yeah, I recommended them to a lender that got them at 5.6%. And right now, so what we're going to see, and this is why I say it's a good time to buy, Julie, because the supply is up right now, the rates are going down. That's good for buyers. What will happen when those rates go down even further, then you're going to see more demand in the market, less supply, and that's when it really gets competitive, especially for those first-time home buyers and people having to get financing.
Okay, so when you mentioned working with a realtor who kind of has those connections, my brain was going really to maybe other realtors who are about to have some properties hit the market, that kind of a connection. I hadn't even thought about helping people on the financing side.
Oh, absolutely. So I am very careful about who I recommend to any of my clients, buyers or sellers. And I want to know that I am recommending them to someone who's going to give them the best deal. And some brokers have, you know, that they have products that regular banks don't have. They can be competitive. They can use money, if you ask the seller to pay some closing costs, you can use some of that money to buy the rate down up front. And so that's what we're doing. But you have to work with people that know how to do that and can deliver that to your clients.
You don't like wasted money.
No.
So one of the things you thought if we had time, and I think we do, was to let people know if they're looking to list their house and sell, don't waste your money on unnecessary improvements.
Absolutely. So right now is prime listing time. Spring has arrived. You see more and more people, as the grass is green, flowers are blooming, that's when people decide to put their home on the market. And so often I come out, do a free consultation with a seller, and they feel like that they have to, you know, change their countertops and do all these expensive upgrades, and that is not the case. First of all, I say first impressions are lasting. So when that buyer pulls into your driveway, you want to make sure that everything is nice and neat. Pressure washing your driveway, your sidewalks, pressure washing the exterior, putting out some fresh mulch, flowers, making sure that as they enter that home that they are impressed right off the spot. And then paint. I tell people paint goes a long way, but make sure that you're using neutral colors, because it's hard, you know, to try to figure out what that buyer's taste will be. So using nice neutral colors, you can't go wrong. Decluttering. maybe moving furniture around where that the home looks
Make
more
it
spacious.
flow well.
Absolutely. Help it look more spacious. You're going to be moving anyway. Go ahead and box items up that you're not using. Declutter. These are things that you can do to really spruce your home up, and it doesn't cost much money at all.
You know, I think people too want to feel like they're walking into a house that's been maintained.
Yes.
So if you, because nobody wants to inherit somebody else's headache.
Yes, absolutely. You want your house to look well maintained. And I even tell some sellers, it's not, you know, it's pretty wise if you go ahead and get a home inspector to come out.
I think so too.
And get ahead of those repairs. Go ahead and do those repairs. That way you know exactly what you're dealing with, what needs to be done. And that's just being very proactive and smart.
Well, it does, because it's a few $100s investment on your
Exactly.
part to know that you might not be in a position to sell your house yet.
That's true.
Because you may have such a repair that you got to save up to fix it first.
And that does happen. Sometimes there are issues and sellers had absolutely no idea about them. So it's smart. It's being proactive.
Because
It's-
once your house has hit the market, if you have to take it off, it's kind of tainted, isn't it?
Yes, and you don't want a deal to fall apart due to an inspection, because then legally we have to disclose that.
So you said something too that's kind of important, that you will come to people's home and do a free
Consultation. Absolutely. And
Because y'all need to be a fit, don't you,
That's right.
Sabrena?
That's right. It's a business transaction, a business relationship. And I would rather someone call me out, let me walk through their house, make recommendations. It's a free consultation, talk numbers so they know exactly where we're going to be listing their house, what price, and what their expectations should be.
So the average right now number of days on the market is how long?
It's about 42 days.
That's not long.
Exactly. And right now the average sales price is about $306,000. So
That's gone down,
It's
hasn't it?
stabilized. It has stabilized.
Okay,
And that's a
very
good
good.
sign. Right now, if someone asks me, I would say it's not a seller's market or a buyer's market.
That's perfect.
Exactly. It's fair right now.
She's kind of perfect too. Here's where you'll find her. It's Sabrena Smedley at Sabrena Realty. SabrenaRealty.com. Couldn't be any more simple. 499-7780. I asked her, what are you going to do this weekend? She said, work. She's always there for you. Thanks.
This year's St. Jude Dream Home is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and could be all yours. But you need to get your ticket now before we sell out again. So call, go online, or scan the QR code now to get your ticket before they're gone.